Charlie's wasn't random. It was scheduled.
He set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
Really.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. And I was almost gonna be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like, it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. There was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? Took his pants down? This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn. Why is that? Well, now you can't.
And Joe Rogan just said something that set the internet ablaze. Of all the people who could have discussed the topic, the last thing they expected was Charlie Kirk's widow. And the way they talked about it was anything but normal. It all started when Rogan in a recent podcast episode shared that he had been secretly following Charlie's case for a while. He said there were too many mismatches and illogicalities in the whole story. Elon Musk, who was accidentally tagged in an excerpt from the podcast, responded with a short but cryptic comment. The truth cannot be hidden forever. That was it. And the internet exploded. Within hours, millions of people were watching the clip over and over again, analyzing every glance, every expression, every word spoken between the two most powerful men in tech and media. Why would they all mention a case that many thought was closed? Some thought it was just a strange coincidence. Others believed it was a signal, a subtle way to suggest something unsaid. Whether coincidental or intentional, the brief exchange between Rogan and Musk was enough to turn a small rumor into a national debate. And when the clip began to go viral, it added fuel to a long simmering fire of suspicion, leaving people wondering, is the real story just beginning? Within hours, Joe Rogan's comments were everywhere. From TikTok to Reddit, YouTube Shorts to Twitter, there were cuts and slow edits that analyzed every word, every glance, every pause in his speech. People started asking, does Rogan know something the public hasn't heard? Then Elon Musk, as usual, made things more complicated, or for some, more interesting. He didn't say anything directly, just quietly liked a few
and not prod any further. We can't allow that to happen here. I won't allow that to happen here because this something terrible has traumatized the world, okay? And I feel as though when it comes to this, the media, the government, the talking heads, everyone is confusing us about what actually took place.
And with that simple action,
liked a few posts by Candace Owens. Posts that question the integrity of the official story surrounding Charlie Kirk, and social media took off after that easy action. Worldwide trending hashtags included Rogan, Musk, Candace, and Charlie's widow. People started to assume that Elon and Joe, two strong men, must have known something that the public was not permitted to know. The crowd's curiosity was piqued by their silence and ambiguous clues. Theories started to sprout like mushrooms on the platforms. Some claimed they were attempting to hint at a cover-up of some sort. Others claimed that Musk and Rogan were merely attempting to manipulate the media, play with people's emotions, and observe how society would respond. However, the time was too ideal regardless of the goal, to be accidental. All of this happened within days of Candace Owens, implying that she had found something very significant in her private notes, which she claimed she was not yet ready to disclose. Social media then started to make the connections, like a cascade of events. Charlie Kirk's widow, Rogan, Candace, and Elon. Everyone rushed in. Independent podcasts, Twitter accounts, Conspiracy Theory X, YouTube channels, and political analysis. Everybody had a different perspective of reality. Some said Candace had proof of a covert agreement between the powerful people. Music. According to others, Rogan and Elon were merely attempting to sway public opinion, leaving the general population to discover the answers on their own. Large media outlets that typically shunned the subject started to report without reporting. The internet is going crazy over a quote from Musk and Rogan. Is one of the ambiguous titles they made, but it doesn't mean anything. The public became even more doubtful, though, because of the way they denied it. What was even more bizarre was how quickly the hypotheses proliferated. Rogan's previous remarks and Candace's old films were spliced together to reveal unspoken parallels. Musk's brief tweet was regarded as code. Rogan's expression slowed to a silent one. The frame was examined for hints, and a question started to circulate in the middle of that fury. Is the truth gradually emerging, or is it only a massive social experiment? Everyone understands that the public is more interested in what strong and secretive individuals are concealing. And this time, the world is awash with speculations, uncertainties, and unsolved issues as a result of the unintentional chain reaction that Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, and Charlie Kirk's widow have caused. However, what they say may not be the most frightening thing, but what they fail to mention. Sometimes a comment is less devastating than silence when it occurs at the correct moment and location. For this reason, people still carefully examine every tweet, podcast, and gaze for indications that the truth is gradually coming to light. Then strange things began to happen. Viewers soon discovered that Joe Rogan's entire podcast was not at all what they had anticipated when it ultimately aired. Charlie Kirk wasn't merely mentioned by Rogan in passing. He openly questioned the whole affair, and his method caused a social media craze. Rogan spoke plainly and deliberately during the episode. The number of things that don't add up is enormous. He started enumerating a string of contradictions that sounded like they belonged in an investigative documentary. He brought out the odd accused photo, the equipment selections that didn't fit the initial testimony, and most importantly, the times in the official report that didn't seem to belong. Rogan even joked, if this were a movie, no one would believe it. His tone was composed, doubtful, and reflective rather than aggressive or accusatory. The audience sensed it. He was aware that he was addressing a delicate topic. The parts where he said, "I almost texted someone when it happened immediately," went viral. Millions of people paused at the moment, rewinding and analyzing. Who was he going to text? Elon Musk, Candace Owens, or someone directly involved in the incident? Every frame of the podcast was meticulously examined. Rogan's eyes changed, his tone changed, and his pauses suggested hesitation. The online community started to speculate that Rogan was more than just a host. He had become part of the story. Some media experts claimed Rogan was experimenting with the pretending effect. Fans think he knows more than he's willing to say publicly. And lengthy posts on Reddit, TikTok, and X started mapping the connections between Rogan, Musk, Candace, and Charlie Kirk's widow. They pieced together the pieces as hints to a deeper story, comparing Rogan's podcast comments to Elon's earlier statements. Over time, the public's perception changed, and Rogan became more than just an observer. Elon Musk decided to add fuel to the fire shortly after Joe Rogan's podcast episode became the most talked about topic online. As usual, when Rogan reaches the forbidden zone, the pull of silence is stronger than what was said. The podcast episode ended with a long silence, leaving millions of viewers staring at their screens with the same feeling. Something unsaid. The bigger question loomed. Was he unintentionally uncovering something unusual? Or was he purposefully trying to tear out a part of the truth that someone else was trying to hide? The irony is that he only needed to post a few brief tweets with no emojis, tags, or explanation. But with Elon, sometimes the loudest words are silence. First, he replied to a random user who inquired about the contentious video, saying, "Not everything is what you think. No more, no less." That was it. As usual, the internet went crazy, and within minutes, the tweet had surpassed 1 million views, with people sharing, quoting, discussing, and attempting to figure out what Elon was really saying. However, a few hours later, it made things even more enigmatic. Elon wrote, "Sometimes silence says it all," in a recent tweet that lacked context. There were no names mentioned. The entire internet community instantly understood what he was talking about, even if no addresses or particular events were given. Commentators on social media started making connections right away. When Rogan discussed Charlie Kirk's widow on the podcast, Elon's tweets timed oddly with that moment. Elon was perceived by some as suggesting that he knew more than the general public was permitted to know, Some believed it to be merely a social experiment, Elon's method of experimenting with the information flow to observe people's reactions. But the timing seemed oddly perfect, whether intentional or not. The internet was attempting to understand each phrase as if it were a code, and it appeared that two of the most powerful people in the world were conversing indirectly through hidden codes. Timelines flooded Reddit. Boards right away. Thousands of videos explaining the true meaning of the "silence speaks volumes" tweet went viral after Rogan spoke, and Musk shared the coincidence down to the minute on TikTok. Some even likened it to Elon's earlier claims regarding secrets. And Candace Owens reappeared at the same time as the public was fervently delving into the Elon Rogan code. She accomplished it in an unexpected way as usual. Candace did not remain quiet. "I want to be very clear that I believe, in fact, I know that towards the end, Charlie was fighting for custody of himself," she said at the beginning of a live broadcast. "That's what I want to express. I want to be clear about that. Additionally, there are lies being told, and they must be stopped immediately." In a matter of minutes, Candace's name was once more prominent on the site. It had a cascading impact. Elon answered, Rogan ignited it, and Candace added fuel to the fire. 3 pieces and 3 names. Millions of individuals were attempting to piece things together, thinking there was a greater story behind all of those films, podcasts, and tweets. Someone didn't want the world to know about this story. With a brief post, Candace Owens abruptly sent the whole social network into a frenzy. "People finally get what I've been saying for months." Without a name or hashtag, she only used 1 sentence, but everyone understood what she was talking about. The platforms burst within minutes. A number of old clips in which Candace discussed the odd contradictions in the Charlie Kirk case were unearthed by fans. From the chronology to theaspects in the stories that, according to her, couldn't reasonably be a coincidence, as well as characters who made appearances both before and after the occurrence. A few hours later, Candace made an appearance on a live stream that went on for over an hour. Although she spoke in a calm tone, there appeared to be weight in every word. She said something that left the crowd gasping for air in the middle of the performance. Charlie sent some private remarks about his wife, but the media never dares to bring them up. The internet took off right away. The live feed was inundated with hundreds of thousands of comments pleading with her to divulge the proof. Candace simply grinned and said, "Patience. The truth always finds its way." Then she abruptly stopped speaking on the radio. She didn't say anything else, but rumors started to circulate on social media right once. Candace was allegedly in possession of screenshots or even portions of Charlie's private notes, according to several. Documents never before viewed by the general public. Nobody was aware of what she was actually holding. But one thing was universally acknowledged. Something significant was going to happen if Candace Owens spoke once more. Then the unexpected occurred. She brought up the diary. According to Candace, she has some of Charlie Kirk's private notes that were penned in the final days of his life. She claims that one of them is about his wife, and he depicted their connection in an incredible manner. Candace merely states that it alters everything, and that when it is published, it will cause people to view the entire story differently, without reading the note out loud. Most viewers think she possesses a crucial piece of the jigsaw, while some think she's just being deceptive. News outlets and podcasts made headlines right away. According to Candace Owens, she has the private notes of Charlie Kirk. And as usual, the buzz is being generated by Candace's vagueness. It's unclear if she's speaking the truth or only criticizing the press. One thing is certain, though, the discussion is far from over. It's only the beginning. According to Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk wrote in his last notes that he felt alone and concerned that a close friend or relative was cheating on him. Candace never published the full note, but she claims Charlie felt like he was being watched, observed in his own private space. And then he wrote a short sentence that sent shockwaves through the internet. "I don't know who I can trust anymore." Even though she just posted a tiny, clipped, and blurry excerpt, it was enough to cause a stir on the internet. Within hours, there was a deluge of discussion, speculations, and self-described analysts on sites like Reddit, TikTok, and Twitter X. People started to question whether Charlie was attempting to send a warning or some other message that no one had time to decipher while he was still living. Naturally, everyone's attention was drawn to the widow right away. Was she the subject of his remarks, or was there another power at work, a greater secret? That uncertainty served as the ideal catalyst for the rumor storm that was just ready to blow up. The internet instantly became divided into two factions. One faction thought that Candace Owens was exposing a huge conspiracy and that the Charlie Kirk incident was gravely flawed. They believed that by courageously addressing a topic that the mainstream media shied away from, Candace was speaking for the people. However, the opposition vehemently objected, asserting that Candace was only influencing public opinion by selectively presenting eye-catching facts to elicit strong feelings and opinions. Some even said she was taking advantage of Charlie's passing to improve her reputation and attract attention. However, regardless of whether people liked or disliked Candace, everyone was discussing her. Above all, they were discussing Charlie's enigmatic notes. The internet was nearly unmanageable in less than 24 hours. Videos, articles, and podcasts with names like Charlie Kirk's Last Message, Hidden Truth, and Who Couldn't He Trust were all over social media. Reddit threads went viral at a never-before-seen pace. Overnight, there were hundreds of thousands of comments. Every single detail in the note was being examined. Some claimed that Charlie's handwriting had shifted, becoming more slanted to the left, signifying mistrust and fear. Others asserted that they had noticed early letters with repeated symbols or secret messages, as though you were attempting to communicate with a special someone. Hundreds of decoding films were uploaded on TikTok every hour. Some demonstrated that Charlie was the author of the note by using handwriting recognition software. According to certain handwriting comparison algorithms, Candace's shared version appears to have been lightly edited. According to some stories, there were several different versions of the memo, each with its own edits, so that the public only saw the portions that bolstered a specific story. In the meanwhile, independent YouTube and podcast commenters have started to participate. They talk on the power of withholding information and the potential for someone as cautious as Charlie to make such vague remarks. Some claim it's a coincidence, while others think Charlie wrote it on purpose to provoke thought. A person's spiral of doubt deepens the more they examine it. The odd issue is that nobody can confirm the validity of the notes. However, that is no longer relevant. The plot continues because of that ambiguity. The mystery surrounding Charlie Kirk's final remarks had progressed beyond mere internet rumors by this time. It had developed into a cultural phenomenon on the internet, where everyone had a different interpretation of reality, and no one was prepared to abandon their beliefs. When a number of reporters attempted to get in touch with Candace to confirm the document's source, she only said, "Time will tell." This response only heightened public interest. People were now curious about Charlie Kirk's writing, as well as the reasons for Candace Owens' decision to publish it at this time. And it was what added to the strangeness of the entire story. Silences, missing handwritten words, and hidden meanings that nonetheless had the ability to rock the online community. Thousands of individuals started doing this on TikTok. What happens every time the internet encounters a mystery? Examining every frame, slowing down and zooming in. In an attempt to read the hazy text in the background where Candace Owens held a piece of paper purportedly from Charlie Kirk's diary, TikTokers slowed down her live stream. Some people believed they noticed words like timing or plan, and they started to surmise that the note was about Charlie's wife taking over his job so fast, almost immediately after the incident, that it raised suspicions. However, that was just one aspect of it. Others thought the remarks were about a political issue, a covert project Charlie had mentioned but never disclosed, or something far more significant than the personal declared. Fans of Joe Rogan, meanwhile, thought that everything Candace said was consistent with what Rogan had alluded to in his podcast. That reality differs slightly from the official narrative. Then the most bizarre portion began. Elon Musk became involved. He simply liked a few postings about the subject without writing anything lengthy. Posters claiming that Charlie is aware of something he is unable to express. As usual, social media was blown away by Elon's insignificant move. Who believes it and who doesn't was no longer the focus of the tale at this point. Everyone was eager to join, from inquisitive individuals to well-known commentators and tiny podcast stations. Everyone was conversing. An ever-expanding universe of theories resulted from everyone having a distinct view of the truth. Then, just when everyone thought things couldn't get any more chaotic, Candace dropped a hint. A fairly harmless Q&A livestream until a viewer asked, "Do you think Charlie's widow knows more than she's letting on?" The online crowd held its breath. Candace remained silent for a few seconds, then said one single line that stopped the entire internet. Let's just say he wrote about trust for a purpose. She then bowed, smiled, and disconnected. There was only silence. No words, no explanation, no follow-up. And that stillness reverberated more loudly than any words as usual. The moment's video was circulated worldwide in a matter of minutes. Thousands of analysis, millions of views. According to some, she was subtly validating suspicions. Others claimed that in order to keep everyone in the dark, she was deftly influencing public opinion. In any case, it was a huge success. New hashtags were all over social media the following morning. Charlie's notebook. What she knew and trusted notes became popular all across the world on this time. Elon Musk liked a simple meme on Twitter that said, "The truth always leaves crumbs." The internet went crazy when someone wrote, "Elon is talking about Candace. He knows something," while someone else retorted, "It's just a media stunt." Between those two schools of thought, something developed into a collective obsession, and Joe Rogan remained silent, not responding, commenting, or providing an update. Oddly, his quiet just increased the tension. Rumors circulated that Rogan, Musk, and Candace were secretly working together like a media triangle to gauge public opinion. At an astonishing rate, videos of Candace using words of trust became viral on TikTok. She stared directly into the camera, while some people zoomed in on her eyes. Stating others claimed she was reading from a script and orchestrating the entire incident to generate media attention. That's the look of someone who knows the truth. But one thing was certain, regardless of who was correct or incorrect. The tale of trust, the journals, and what Charlie Kirk might have learned had grown into an unstoppable storm. The internet community was waiting for Rogan to speak up, for Elon to provide further clues, and for Candace to divulge the diary's entire contents. And they become more and more engrossed in an endless tale the longer they wait. One where the distinctions between doubt, truth, and belief are now entangled. Furthermore, silence might be the most effective communication tool anyone can have in a time where a tweet has the capacity to start a movement. One such instance is the tale of Candace Owens, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and the Charlie Kirk diaries. Truth is now based on transmission speed, rather than evidence in the digital era. A glance during a live stream, a seemingly harmless tweet, or a hidden comment might all be the catalyst for a worldwide storm. It demonstrates that sometimes there is no reason to conceal the truth in a society where everyone has the freedom to express themselves. The truth will eventually vanish if enough people utter disparate things. It's our reminder that we need to develop the ability to think clearly, to question before believing, and to pause before sharing. Because stillness is not always accepted in a time when loudness overrides truth. It is the most effective tactic at times. Keep in mind that not all content that becomes viral is accurate. Furthermore, not all truthful content is permitted to become viral. Subscribe to the Royal Spotlight to stay up to date on the untold tales, behind-the-scenes secrets, and unspoken facts. We do more than just deliver the news. We unlock each name's significance, notoriety, and relationships. The Royal Spotlight is a platform that illuminates even the most obscure facets of the celebrity industry.